So hi folks, welcome to Insights with NetSupport. Really pleased to have Barry Lee Cummings here with us.
Yeah.
Good to see you.
Good to be here. Good to see you on the ground here.
Final day of the show. Nice to have a chance to catch up.
Indeed, yeah. Been a busy time.
It's been a really busy time, but a great time because it's always nice when you're in the neighbourhood, so to speak, to catch up with lots of familiar faces, showcase quite a lot of the work that we've been doing with Classroom Cloud product particularly.
Yeah. And win some awards.
And we did. We were very pleased to win Best Digital Solution last night, so that's another really positive one for the team.
Yeah.
And aligns a little bit with some of the work and support you've been doing with insights and advice for us in terms of online safety, well-being, just keeping people safe in this new cyber world.
As much as possible, yeah. It's been an interesting evolution over the last decade. It has been that we've been doing, Beat the Cyberbully on the ground here, and working with you guys. I think moving forwards, also just how important things like Classroom Cloud are as tools to help in schools, but also just the wider conversation, I think, around the whole subject, because we've been spending a lot of time with mums and dads. As we've realised over the last couple of years, they're kind of the missing piece of the jigsaw when it comes to this entire online safety piece, and trying to help mum and dad as much as possible. And I think that we've got some things that we've been working on, that we've created. The new online guide for Middle East is I think it's just obviously biased, but it's a great resource for people on the ground here in the Middle East.
Well, obviously we're very grateful for your input and words of wisdom supporting that.
It's very small from what the actual thing is, because I think it's such a powerful piece of content that can help.
I mean, ironically, it's like as if we didn't already know. Most of the time, the way that we actually impact positively is just about creating the conversation, being the catalyst for discussion and empowering people.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think that it is as simple as that, as corny as it sounds, but the conversations, especially here in the Middle East, they haven't been happening. At home, it's one of those subjects where some of the things that are happening to young people in the online space, that they're not subjects of conversation at the dinner table. Culturally, religiously, there's so many areas to consider, but it's changing.
Yeah, I think we see it around the world. And in many ways, I think some of the challenges that our children face online, the awkwardness at home is no different to perhaps talking about sexual education has been for many years for families. But the challenge, of course, is with the world changing so quickly. And I suppose much as it's very much the flavour of the month with the role of AI, and even more so now, this sense of what is and isn't real, the potential for it to be used to bully. There are so many different variables that it becomes an ever more complex world for parents as well as the children themselves.
Definitely, yeah. And I think this is a big part of the conversation starting, is that we're behind the curve for a lot of this in terms of mums and dads. Our children, they're digital natives. They get this stuff as soon as it comes out. They're like, "Wow, amazing! We can use this. We know how to use it." And mum and dad are kind of getting further and further behind. And I think that because of the speed of how it's moving, and with the introduction of AI and how it's impacting everything, these conversations are even more important if they weren't already. Because the longer they don't happen, the further back we go.
And it's ironic because, of course, the AI is something everyone's talking about, but for many, it's almost become this scary topic that I just don't want to confront. Because for many, the perception varies from everything like a tool that can answer questions for me and help a child cheat, rather than considering the potential for impact when shepherded and nurtured, all the way through to robots are taking over humanity. And trying to navigate past that to actually get to the meat of the conversation, which is about, we just want our young people to be able to consider and think about not only the information they share, their footprint, but also the information they consume, how they validate it and evidence it. And also that thing that I've heard discussed many times, the context of digital disinhibition, the way that we conduct ourselves in the digital world is quite different to how they might face to face.
Very much so, yeah.
And understanding that sense of just about back to that sense of love and respect and appreciation for your fellow human being.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be something that is something we've still got to work so hard at.
Yeah, and it is funny that it is something that we have to work so hard at, and the technology left unfettered will make that harder. But reality, it's just a different vehicle. You know, like you say, it's about being human, it's about being empathetic, it's being kind, it's being all those human traits that have been there forever. But then, as you said, for some reason like this, we're looking at a screen. Oh well, I can be somebody different, and almost acting and becoming a different personality, and feeling that it's not me. This is a persona, which, you know, our society lauds from an actor's perspective, from a celebrity perspective, from an influencer perspective. But I think, to your point on AI, it's also very much getting away from the sensationalism of it, and digging a little bit deeper, and understanding and this is something I think that we're on the same page about. How do we embrace this incredible tool and use it for the best?
Like all these things, there's always opportunity if we're mindful of it. I think when we think within the education setting, we've had lots of conversations this week about, you know, AI for purpose, effective stretch and challenge, being able to utilize it to save lots of time and effort for teachers. Again, with always the human override of making sure we can validate and evidence the creativity and innovation that we want to spark in our learners as well. I think where we always have the yin and the yang. I mean, there's, you know, the My AI and Snapchat type environment where, you know, there are significant concerns about its.
Why is it there?
Why is it there? I mean, there's some sinister things there, but the nature of some of the questioning that's been tested on it and the responses that are entirely inappropriate, age inappropriate, and that again, I guess, comes full circle to actually when we start thinking about children using Snapchat and other apps on their phones, the best oversight you can have is parents who are informed.
100%, 100%, and it's trying to impart that knowledge, and then also let mums and dads know about what tools are available, because it's all very well, you know, the sessions that we deliver, they're meant to increase that knowledge and education side of things, but then it's okay, what can I take away as a mum, as a dad, and talk to my children about? Because in some cases, even now, 2023, we get parents coming saying, I don't know how to talk to my child about this. I don't know enough about this to be able to have a conversation. So the other option is, let's just not talk about it.
And I think when all these things come down to the sharing, one of the things that we work very hard on with the online safety functionality within our technology, particularly within the Classroom Cloud, is very much about providing information to allow and be the catalyst for engagement. Many years ago, there was this mindset of, well, if we just block everything that possibly could be accessed in a school, problem goes away. Well, of course, reality is the problem goes home. The problem doesn't go away. And so increasingly now, thank goodness, that mindset is, it's not to stop children going places, it's to be aware when they are and use information that we're able to capture to be either one-to-one interventions or more often whole school assemblies. I can see this is a trending topic, this is something that you're obviously interested in, we've got a particular cohort, whether it's boys or girls or all, that have different challenges or topics that they're trying to find out more about.
Absolutely, and I think that is so important, because there's also, what I've noticed over the last few years is there's, as I'm old by the standards as well, is that what I think some of the issues are based on what I see in the digital space, what you can get from things like Classroom Cloud from within the school is, okay, I think it's A, B, and C. Actually, it's X, Y, and Z that they're really worried about. And it's not these big scary things that I thought it was. It's actually, no, they're worried about hacking, they're worried about whatever the subject is, but you're getting the data to say, this is where we should be focusing. We need to do more assemblies. We need to do more sessions around these subjects, because this is what they're looking for. This is how they feel. And being able to address that, I think that's so invaluable, rather than going after this big scary, pictures that, no, we don't actually, they're not worried about that.
No.
So we don't really need to worry about it. We need to be aware, but these are the three things that the kids in our school really want some help with, or some exposure or something.
Often it starts with just explaining that it's not about children being naughty. It's about young people trying to find the answers to the emotions they're feeling.
100% it is. And it's funny that this is, I've got two little ones, and it's something that I think our generation is starting to understand, that we're having to do certain things personally to get to a place where, actually understanding and validating how they are feeling and what they are feeling is what is the catalyst to their actions in the online space, and that we are thinking, that's odd, but then when you kind of think about it, well, no, that's perfectly natural.
You know what, technology doesn't have to be factors. There was a big announcement by the government in the UK a few weeks ago that talked about how poor behaviour of children in the classroom was affecting other children's mental health.
Mm.
And there was a pause, and the education community came back and said, no, poor social, emotional, mental health in our youngsters is affecting behaviour in the classroom. And actually, this isn't about teachers, you need to be stricter or control better. This is about societally, we have a huge cohort of young people that need much greater support with their social, emotional, mental health. And digital is but just one means.
Yes.
It just happens to be that they now are constantly looking in a mirror, either reflecting on themselves or peers and wondering why they're not the same.
Yeah, it is, and this is, I think, that is such an interesting breakdown of what's happening, because what I've seen on the ground here as well is that there's very much it's you, it's them, it's us, it's this finger pointing exercise as to what is the cause and effect, and actually, as you said, it's us.
Collective,
all of us. We need to start working together as education establishments, education suppliers, educationalists, children, parents. It doesn't really matter. We have to be human about this, and understanding what's happening better means that we can have those conversations, which is where it starts, and from those conversations we can build out on it. But unfortunately, still not enough of those conversations happening.
No, but very nice that we can have this conversation.
Absolutely, yeah.
For our listeners, we've got many schools that we work with across this region. Anybody wanting to reach out for your advice, support, your teams of capacity, because you offer all sorts of resources and guidance to schools.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're on, in spite of our messaging, we're on social media, we're putting it out there, and we do advocate for screen management time, but I think it is, just before we get into that, there's a very important message here for a lot of parents on the ground here, that it's not screen time, it's about what are they doing on those screens, because there is
absolutely
benefits to a lot of the things. It's not just, screens are bad. So that's the message that we're really sort of trying to communicate to our community on the ground here. But we're on socials at Cyber Safety UAE. Our website is beatthecyberbully.ae. And if you put my name into Google, Barry Lee Cummings, you'll find me.
You'll find it, absolutely. And you know what? As a parent worrying about their child's journey in this digital world, knowing there's resources like yourselves that they can reach out to, I think is hugely comforting. So, keep doing what you do, keeping everybody safe online.
We'll do our best. We'll do our best.
Great
Thanks,
to see you.
Al. You too.